Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. I'm your host Khalid Mohidin, and this is the live Fanatics Calling, the podcast show. We've got a jam-packed, obviously a very jam-packed show for you tonight, and I'm really excited to get into it. We're going to have quite a few fans calling in. To the guys that are obviously watching already, you guys can also call in. I will obviously put the link in the description as well as I've put it in the comments for you guys to be able to call into the show if you want to come and have a chat with us. We're going to have quite a few fans that are going to call in today, and I'm really excited because it's something really new that we've done. We haven't really done a show like this before. We're going to be talking obviously a lot about a lot of different things. We obviously have domestic cricket to talk about. We're obviously going to be talking about the IPL to start off with things. We're just waiting for our IPL specialists to come and join us. And of course, we're going to talk about the best players in South African cricket. I mean, I have a massive variety of different people that are going to obviously tune into this particular show. So if you guys want to come onto the show and call in and have a chat with me and have a chat with our different guests, the link is in the description. I've also posted it in the live comments if you are interested. Now, obviously, there's been a lot to talk about. It's been quite an amazing week. Hello, Ayanda. I can see you in the comments again. Thank you for joining in. It's been quite a crazy week, just with regards to IPL performances and so many IPL games happening. And we obviously have positioned ourselves in a way that we can help you too. Before we get our IPL guys on the show to come have a chat with us, don't forget to obviously click the subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. We need your help to click the subscribe button, click the notification bell for all future videos. We need your help to reach that 1,000 mark. We're almost at that 1,000 mark. I almost said 1,000 rand mark. It's basically, if it's a cricket channel, then it is 1,000 rand mark. Yeah, we need that chance to get to that milestone. Obviously, a lot of great performances that took place in the IPL, and we will get Aditya, obviously, as per usual, to call into the show and give us his input and his review on the show and what has happened in the IPL this weekend, because obviously we had a lot of double headers, a lot of different things happened. Good evening, Reginald. Thank you for joining in. Do you guys have any questions in the comments that you want to put out there, what you would like us to talk about today? We're obviously going to have a very in-depth discussion about a lot of things cricket, and obviously fans are going to be calling in. To the guys that have joined in now, I'm going to repeat myself again and say that it is in the description, the link to call in on the show. I'm just going to have a quick check on where our guys are. We're just waiting for the guys to come call in, and then we can start discussing what has happened in the IPL, for example, today. It's been quite incredible. I think that the main highlight, obviously, of today is got to be Faf du Plessis' performance. I mean, once again. And this particular time, obviously, opening up the batting like last time, but this time actually putting in a remarkable performance, scoring 87. We're going to obviously get Aditya to give us a lot more insights into everything that we just saw. Just saw a statement on Brexit from the 31st of December. So, yeah, that's going to be a massive move. That means that there's so much talent out there that are going to be coming back to South Africa. But obviously, what we're going to do first and foremost is, that we always start off the show just to have a discussion about what's happened currently. And obviously, we're going to be talking about the IPL first. So we have our first call in. We're obviously going to be speaking to Aditya, who's going to give us a quick summary of everything that has happened. So guys, don't forget to obviously click the link if you want to come chat to us on the show. So let's welcome Aditya to the stream. Welcome, Aditya. So good to see you again. And it's nice because it's good news. It's good news for us. We like to hear it when our South Africans perform. I obviously looked at the stats. I glanced at the game. I didn't get to see the entire game. Being a massive United fan, I had to watch that humiliating performance against Tottenham now, and I'm still hurting a bit. And it's tough for me to sit in front of you guys today. Very hurt about that performance and everything that's happening there, but it's great to see our South Africans. This is going to give me so much fun to talk about South African cricket and where we are going. So just give us a quick summary of what happened over this weekend. I think we can end up with Faf because I mean, phenomenal performance from him. But let's just talk about Quinton being back. Obviously, that was one of the highlights as well.
Definitely. If there was ever a game and if there was ever a ground that Quinton de Kock could use to get back into form, it was going to be Sharjah.
Mm.
And to see the kind of shots that he was hitting, and you look at his progression through his innings. I think he faced 39 balls for his 69, and through his first 10 balls, he's striking at around 125. Then he sort of shifted gears and he's striking at around 200, and then he starts striking at 233 towards the end. So he really
Mhm.
started, getting more confident, and it's great for Quinton and it's great for the Mumbai Indians because I think if there was anything that they were lacking uh, in the top order, it was probably an explosive start from Quinton. So
Mm.
yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to see him back.
So was that one of the highlights for you about this weekend? Obviously, we had a lot of double headers. What
Yes.
was the highlighted games for you? Obviously, we also had Andrich
Yeah.
Nokia put in an amazing performance as well.
Yes. Yes, Andrik put in a phenomenal performance yesterday, and again, it was a run fest in Sharjah between the Delhi Capitals and the Kolkata Knight Riders. The Delhi Capitals just launched, and they scored I think about 223 in 20 overs. So it was a monumental ask to have the KKR chase it down, but they got to the last over, and there was a 9 ball period where they scored 42 runs. Owen
Jeez.
Morgan and Rahul Tripathi. So that tells you what sort of form that they were in and the sort of intent that they had to get over the line. KG Rabada, I think it was his third or fourth over where he went for 23 runs. Um, that I think that puts into perspective Lungi's over to Jofra Archer because
Mm.
on the show as well we were talking a fair bit about Lungi's form,
Yeah.
and you know KG being one of the strike bowlers for the Delhi Capitals, puts Lungi's performance into perspective. Where we say that okay, maybe it wasn't so bad. Jofra was having a good day that day and sort of came off because the
Mm.
striking KG for 23 runs is no mean feat. So definitely incredible game. And what I really loved about the game yesterday between KKR and DC was that Owen Morgan was asked towards the end, that what could what could Kolkata Knight Riders have done differently? And
Yeah.
he said, actually, not much, because we're chasing 220 odd, and we were in the game till the 20th over. So it was just a couple of balls that could have been hit for 6 or 4. But yeah, I thought that was a fantastic response. And sometimes you just have to take it in your stride because there's not a lot you can do. But well played to both teams. Today we have to talk about the Chennai
Yeah.
Super Kings today because um, it looked like with 3 losses in 4 games, it looked like their campaign was getting derailed, but they've bounced back, and how they conceded 178 runs in the first innings, and there were concerns that given the batting group's form in the Chennai Super Kings, it was going to be difficult for them to chase anything over 170. And
Yeah.
with Shane Watson needing few runs and Kedar Jadhav being short of runs as well, there were concerns about how it would go. But uh, Shane Watson and Mr. Fantastic Duplessis, uh, they just played incredible cricket, and they got them off to flyer, continued through the middle overs, and then took them towards the end with almost 3 overs to spare.
Mm.
So outstanding performance. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're obviously getting into our in depth into our obviously IPL discussion. We have three different sections we're going to get into today, guys. So we're going to obviously talk about our IPL performances. Then we're going to talk about some South African, who are some of the best South African players, and then obviously we're going to get into some domestic chat, which I'm really excited about. We have some awesome guests that are coming on the show as well. I see you by the background here, ready to take a stroll out in the once again. Welcome to the show, bye.
Yeah, how's it going, Khalid? How's it
Yeah,
going,
good at you,
Khalid?
man.
Yeah,
Good.
Aditya, how's it going?
Uh,
Very
I
good.
don't
How are you
know.
doing?
how good I'm feeling right now. I'm caught in between. Thanks that I have good friends like you guys, because I mean, otherwise I'd be probably morbid right now in my room, locked in my room, and not talking to anybody. So luckily, I have the show to be able to talk to the fans and talk to you guys, because after that hammering that United got, yeah, my heart is
Well,
in a
you win
million
some
different
and
pieces.
you learn some at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's easy to say when it's not your team getting battered.
You know, to be frank, I don't really watch much Premier League. Sorry.
Yeah. Of course not, yes. So I want to talk to you about some of the performance that stood out to you in this IPL. Are there is there any particular one that really stood out to you? I mean, obviously the Fafu one was phenomenal. I mean, what people don't realize is that it's not often that the opening batsman will chase down a score together alone. To see that, it's very rare, and to actually witness that, it's so you must be so lucky as a cricket fan to be able to witness something like that take place.
Oh, definitely. I think yeah, chasing anything beyond 170 without losing even one wicket, that is an unbelievable achievement in itself. And I think aside from Faf and Watson today, if we were to go back to the RCB game, uh, I think Padikkal and Kohli getting back in form. I think those two were pretty key performances this week. Obviously, I'm biased as an RCB fan, but that's just my 2 cents.
So we have a caller waiting in the back end. Obviously, our first caller. Actually, it's double trouble. It's the twins. I don't know if you guys are going to know them as the twins. If they're going to become infamous as that, or they're going to become famous with that nickname. But when they are ready, they can just give me a thumbs up and can join the stream to come talk about some IPL talk. I'm obviously going to be slated by one of them because they're Manchester City fan. So that's going to be quite hectic. And we also got that. There's one that I'm very excited about as well is Lubabalo. He's going to come on the show as well, the cricket scholar that I'm really
Oh
excited to talk to
yes,
him. I mean, he's very active
yes.
he's obviously very active on Twitter, and we've obviously seen him there, and he's going to also join the stream. So let's just first start with the twins. I'm going to call him the twins. So welcome to the show, girls.
Okay, yeah, we're back. Yeah.
Yes, you
So
are back.
it was a
Thank.
last minute decision to change our name. Uh,
Of course.
yeah, yeah.
Look, I think you'll get the nickname will stick.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like people always use plural anyway because they never know us apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us your
Yeah.
summary about the IPL so far. Obviously this weekend's fixtures. We are Aditya, myself, and Abai obviously gave a massive shout out to the rest of the week's fixtures and obviously a review of that. Tell me, what did you think? What were the performances that really stood out to you? Were you really excited to see?
Well, I was happy to see Faf and Watson make beyond 50, first of all. So I was very surprised to see that, that's how they can play. That's how I know that they can play. And CSK have played very well in the past. And so, yeah, it was also good to see them win today. So I'm sorry you have sad heartbreak, but I'm elating in my heart. Yes, yes. So yeah, I was actually very glad to see even Faf shining out there, like the
But
Faf that we know, and what.
yeah, but they did still lose against SRH.
But they won today. That's in the past. So we focus on today. Yeah. So I think that's more or less what I would like to say. Also, RCB, when did they play? Yeah, when they played.
Mhm.
Okay, can I talk about SRH
Yeah.
now? Okay, cool. So so
I love it.
basically, I mean, for me, the main players that stood out for me in SRH is obviously the three youngsters in the team. Samad, obviously, with his bowling, which was pretty
Mhm.
amazing in that match in CSK, and then obviously, Gorge or Gog, I'm not sure, Gorge.
Yeah, Priyam Garg.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
him.
Batting like that at such a young age already, I think is an amazing achievement already, and especially on such a platform, IPL. I think it's a good start for him also for a good career, I think. And then, what's the other youngster? Oh, and Sharma, yes, Abhishek Sharma.
Mm.
Abhishek
His
Sharma.
batting. Yes, he was
Yeah,
really
that's
brilliant in
awesome.
that game as well. So, I mean, I'm looking more at the youngsters and how they are blooming, in the teams. I mean, it's good to also
Mhm.
follow the the I don't want to say oldies, but it's good to also see, the new talent that's coming into the team. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was what I was looking out for the most.
So,
Yeah.
can I ask you girls to turn your screen like sideways, if it's possible, and Abai too, if you can, so you can fit in the screen like nice and.
Oh,
Mwah.
we're
If it's
falling
possible,
sideways.
if it does
This way.
rotate, I don't know if it does
See,
rotate.
I'm using my phone right now. I don't think
Okay, it
I'm able
doesn't
to.
rotate. It doesn't
Yeah.
rotate.
It won't. Yeah.
No, it
It's
Yeah,
doesn't.
that's fine.
yeah.
That's fine. You can leave it as is. So
But
let's
more
just.
importantly, you're able to see my face.
There's no graphics in front of you guys. So I'm gonna bring on the next caller. Obviously we've been talking about him right now. Really excited to speak to you. Welcome to the show, bro.
Oh, yeah.
How's man?
Evening, hi. Thank you for
How's-
having me.
No problem. Your debut, hey?
Yeah, a bit nervous, but yeah.
No problem. Man. So, have you been like? How much have you been keeping up? I know you're a purist of the game as well. You love the longer format, of course, and the actual natural game of cricket. Obviously, there's been a massive debate on Twitter whether if you should support T20 cricket, if you shouldn't support T20 cricket, etc. Where do you fit into that camp at the moment? Have you been enjoying some of the performances, especially from the South African guys?
Oh, it's a bit hard to enjoy T20 cricket when 200 scores are flying all over the place, eh? It's almost like watching bowlers getting slaughtered. But yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to cricket for me, it's Test cricket and the other formats, especially T20 cricket. I'm not a massive fan, but I've been trying to follow the South Africans, especially Anna and KG.
Mhm.
I'm disappointed that CSK decided to bench Imran Tahir. I wanted to see how he's gonna do, and I also believe with him, the more he bowls, the more he gets into form, and the better he bowls. So if he's not playing, I feel like it's not good for us as well going into the World Cup. I was also sad to see Lungi dropped just after one game, considering he was one of their best bowlers, I believe, in the last season.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to the IPL, I just try and follow the South Africans. To be honest, it's hard for me to enjoy it.
Yeah. It's the same as me. I mean, that's what we've been trying to do for Cricket Fanatics Mag is try to follow the South Africans because obviously we want to see how those guys are going to be performing when we get into our international talk, which will be a little bit later on the show. A bio teacher, do you have any response to that?
All right, yeah, I can go ahead. So I think, even in this IPL, even though I'm backing RCB, I'm keen to see how the South African players do. I think, as I said in an earlier show, I know a lot of people who love Test cricket and aren't the biggest fan of T20, but ultimately, I think each format has something interesting it brings to the table.
No, of course. I mean, I guess in this modern day time, you're not going to get rid of it. Obviously, there's no way we're going to get rid of it. It's one of the biggest money making. I wouldn't say schemes, but money making employees in cricket at the moment. Obviously, we know how much money with the BCCI make from T20 cricket. Teacher, you can give us some more insight into that. We will never see T20 cricket, no matter how much noise we make. I think T20 cricket will always be around. When it was introduced in India originally, when it did get introduced in India. Obviously, it wasn't the first time ever for them to see it. I think it was South Africa were one of the forerunners, I think, with regards to this format. When it came to India, what was the response instantly? Was there a fight against it at first when it was introduced?
I think people resist change generally, and when T20 cricket was, I think our first sort of foray into T20 cricket was the World Cup in South Africa, which didn't have our senior pros, Sachin Tendulkar, Sourav Ganguly, and Rahul Dravid to play. It was led by MS Dhoni and all the young guns who went on to become superstars in the next couple of years. So I suppose there was change, but the fact that we won that first T20 World Cup against our arch rivals Pakistan, I think really brought it. It really brought it onto the map, on the cricketing map in the country. And thereafter, the IPL the IPL was launched about 8 months after. So I think one thing led to another, and we saw uh, we saw the foundation for a very successful tournament. But I think what India's done well with T20 cricket is that we sort of used a lot of that money that comes in from the IPL. In Indian currency, that's about 4,500 crores uh, that uh, that the BCCI makes through the IPL every year,
Oh,
and
sure.
that's been plowed back into domestic cricket. Uh, and a lot of those players, like Devdutt Padikkal, for example, before he became this star for RCB, he was already a legend on the domestic circuit, and
Mm.
he's known to be he's going to be a future India player. I think people knew that even last year, the year before. Um, and what is great about him, along with Shubman Gill and Priyam Garg, played brilliantly yesterday, is
Yeah.
that these cricketers are using, the basics of Test cricket and they're playing risk-free cricket, but they're able to sort of, produce those performances that work at the T20 level as well.
Mm.
So
So let's go into. We can actually start moving the conversation into a more domestic cricket arena now. I'm going to start with the Twins. Let me ask you. I know you guys did watch some of the MSL games. I don't know how many of them you did watch. I can't remember from our last conversation. But with regards to some of the local talent that we do have, who would you like to see like in a tournament like the IPL in the future?
That's a good question. So we've been looking up some of the players, obviously, and watching some videos and educating ourselves, also with domestic cricket players. And the one main thing I think that we could agree on was bringing a more spin bowler side into the Protea team. So the two names I think that stood out the most was Keegan Peterson, spin bowler, and then Bjorn Forte. So I think Proteas, it would be good also for Proteas to bring in more spin bowlers, I think, because I always remember in games, people always feared the spinner. I don't know if that is a general thing.
Yeah.
So I think the Proteas can focus on, making the spinner great again, where people, make spinners great again. Because, I feel like I remember there was also a game a couple of years back we watched when Dumini was still very much in his peak, at his peak. And you could always kind of see like on the batsmen's faces, like they're like, oh, it's Dumini, he's going to bowl, and they literally looked, maybe they didn't really look fearful, but I mean, it's just that presence of a spin bowler that people usually fear. But yeah, so other than that, I think those are the two main names. And then obviously Malcolm Murray with batting and some all-rounders also. I can't really think of names at this point. But yeah, so
Yeah,
basically
I had an awesome chat with Malcolm Murray actually. You can see that video as well in the playlist that we have in exclusive interviews. But where he spoke about his mindset and the way he thinks about the game and the way he thinks about T20 cricket and how he adapted to that, because that became one of the main ways of him coming onto the scene as well. I mean, it's pushed his career the most actually is the shorter formats where he got recognized on a massive level and a massive stage. So he wants to play the longer formats. It's similar to what Ryan Rickleton told us, that yes, and he knows that T20 cricket is where he got onto the stage and where he became a cricketer, where he really got pushed. It was actually the fact that he wants to still push for first class cricket and he wants to play in test cricket because they all want to be part of that purist. They mentioned the name there, Bjorn Fortuyn. Lubabalo, for you, watching him, Bjorn, I mean, quite a phenomenal player. He's really shown his ability to be able to more hold up and in than become a striking spinner. Is that your same analysis that you get from him?
For me, I think he's more of a clever bowler. As you said, he's good at keeping one end closed down. What I like about him is the fact that he can bowl almost anywhere in an innings. When we're talking about white ball cricket, he can open the bowling for you. He can also bowl at the death. But with spinners bowling at the death, the thing is, I have a feeling that sometimes captains misread match situations, Because for a spinner to be able to do a proper job at the death, you need to give him runs to work with. But with Bjorn, I feel he's gonna get better. And I agree with the Twins when they say we need more of our spinners to start bowling in foreign conditions, especially in Asia. We need more of our spinners to be tested in those conditions.
Yeah.
That's where they'll actually be able to improve as bowlers and begin to understand their game better. For me, I think the other thing is from a coaching perspective is that we don't have that proper mentality when it comes to spinners. I'll just tell you just a short story. I once played in Pretoria, Northlands. There was a young boy there because I also used to bowl spin. Our team was going for runs, and then this kid was bowling flat. He was bowling flat and short, and they were smacking him. I went to the kid and I was like, "Listen, give the ball some air, you'll see. Get them to try and hit you." The boy was like, "Nah, you want them to score runs off me." So I think that's the sort of mentality that we have when it comes to spin bowling. Our spinners, they don't want to go for runs, but anyone who knows cricket knows for a spinner to get wickets, they need to give the ball some flight, be brave enough to actually tell the batsman to, "Here, come hit me. Set your field," and then tell the batsman to come hit you.
Unmute your mic.
I'm muted. So you see, I'm so used to like totally what everybody else is doing. You know? So it's an African cricket especially. Like when I could see how they were struggling because, for example, the one season that I watched in Kamajolo week, Molefe was incredible. Took over 20 wickets in that one tournament. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this boy is so accurate and so amazing. And then I was looking at it and I was like, but there are some cases where batsmen were completely baffled. They didn't know how to hit spin. They didn't know how to approach it. And then I kind of did some digging and I kind of tried to get some information out of my interviews that I do. And then when I noticed when India came here, and Aditya, you can give us some more insight into that because when India came here and they destroyed us with that 33 wickets between Kuldeep and Chahal, I was like, what is going on here? And I asked Dale Beckenstein at the time, what is our problem with spin? And he still gave me a response and said, no, there's no problem with spin. We don't have a problem with spin. And I looked at him and I'm like, no, man, that's obviously must be some sort of information that you've been fed, or you don't want to give our secrets away on what we're struggling with, etc. But when the India tour came around, we struggled over there. We struggled in Sri Lanka again against spin in the test arena. We've had some hectic trouble playing against spin. And I was thinking, how do we combat that? Because I was like, maybe there's a particular ground that we can maybe turn into a spinning wicket so that when we do play games, they can create that type of surfaces for us to practice on. Because when I spoke to someone like Heinrich Klaassen, who was our best player in that particular series, he said that when he was younger, he didn't have heroes to look up to. He didn't watch TV. He used to go down with his brothers and his family, and they used to roll the pitches and themselves, and they used to prepare a lot of spinning wickets, and that's why he used to play against spin a lot, or balls that deviate a lot, and that's how he got used to it from a young age, playing spin bowling. So yeah, I think there's a lot we need to do. I mean, you as a coach, obviously, Lubabalo, what do you think should be done to improve our spin in this country?
With me, I don't think it's necessarily an issue of things like technique. It's more of a mental thing, because if you look back at most of the matches where we've struggled against spin, we can't even play a guy like Moeen Ali. Doesn't spin the ball much. Even a guy like Jaded, he gets wickets against us. He also doesn't spin the ball much. I've seen a lot of our batsmen go out to the ball that just goes straight with the arm. That's why with me, I think the issue is mostly it's how we approach spin. If you're gonna play spin, we need to try and be more positive. Because if you watch most of our batsmen against spin, they never know whether to go forward or to stay back. So they're sort of caught in between. At the World Cup, did you see Rassi? He looked more. Yeah. He looked better at playing spin when he was positive, when he was actually going against the spin, like playing them positively. But when he tried to sort of be defensive minded and change his approach to a more defensive approach, he seemed to struggle against spin. So for me, it's two things. If you want to try and defend, then defend all out. Put your mind to it. If you want to play positively as well. But one thing to the coaches, what I do as a coach is, with things like throwdowns, I don't just chuck pace at my batsmen all the time. I also try and chuck some spin just to try and get the ball to turn so that our batsmen can actually get used to playing the spin, because I believe sometimes throwdowns work better than actually facing a bowler in the net. So I think we need to start at under 9, under 11, start there. Don't just chuck pace the whole day. You're chucking quick to your bat. Chuck some spin so that they actually get used to it.
Yeah. Aditya, what is your based on what Lubabalo said there? What is your advice to us South Africans over here? How do we come out to India and then slaughter you guys?
I think there are three things. There are three things that come to mind. One is preparing spinning wickets in South Africa to encourage more spinners to take up the game, which will in turn help batsmen improve their game against spin as well. So that's one. We did, like in India, after we lost 8-0 to England and Australia in 2011, there was a concerted effort to get our batsmen acclimated to fast and seaming wickets. And I think over time it sort of helped in future series. The second is, I think international teams just need more time to prepare. It's unrealistic to ask South Africa, Australia, or England, or any team coming to the subcontinent to come in, train for 2 weeks and then, face Ashwin or Jadeja. It simply wouldn't work. I think we saw what happened when India came to South Africa in 2017. They hardly had any training time. They didn't really play a warm-up game. And then we saw what happened in Cape Town. It didn't go very well. But then when they got used to the wickets, they played well in Johannesburg and they won that test. So warm-up games are important. Preparation time is important. And third is one of my favorite innings of an overseas player in India is Keegan Peterson in Mumbai in 2012, when he scored 186 on a rank turner against Pragyan Ojha and Ashwin and some of our lethal spinners. And what he said basically was that the ball that turns a mile is not going to get him out. Because it can't get him on the pads, and he's not going to nick it. He's just going to leave it. So the only balls that he was concerned about were sort of, like full length and had the potential to sort of get him on the pads. So that was all he cared about. And that was among the best counter-attacking innings I've ever seen in India.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking that we lost that game, but brilliant.
Yeah, you see, in Sri Lanka, for example, in that test series, I think that was our biggest issue, is that we didn't have the patience to just leave and know when to leave and not know when to leave. It's the ability to be able to read it. There needs to be some guys. That's why I think someone like Paul Adams, and I know it might be a little controversial, but I think someone like Paul Adams in that setup to give some insights into what it is like to bowl in India and to be a spinner, and to give some insights into those type of things. When they had that spin bowling camp, apparently the players said that they really learned a lot from having Paul Adams and Ashwin Prince over there in that setup to be able to give them some tips, etc. But let's just keep it on topic still. We have a caller in the back end, Miggy. I don't know if she is ready. She just needs to let me know when she is ready to come on the stream. She's a little bit nervous, guys, but don't worry about it. I back her knowledge because she is a cricketer herself. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Unmute your mic.
No problem. So just introduce yourself to the fans first of all, and to the people out there.
Or just like my name and things.
Yeah, and what you do, and obviously you play for, etc.
Oh, I'm Megan, Murray, and I play for EP.
Okay, awesome. See, we got a young cricketer in here. Now we have to be a little bit nervous because now we have to be on top of our stats and everything. So Murray, I said it wrong. So thank you for telling me how to pronounce it. I actually sent a message to Lubabalo as well to ask him how do I pronounce your name before the show.
That's a young quality cricket player there, if I might add myself.
Yes, and I love it because I mean we need more quality cricketers in this country. And I've obviously I've been following you on Instagram, and I can see the training videos that you put up, and amazing technique and doing a great job. So keep it up. I know who you're gonna
Thank
pick.
you.
So I've been asking guys, who in South African cricket, in the MSL, for example, some of the guys that you've seen, who would you like to see maybe in the future play in the IPL? Who are some of your favorite players that you think would be able to play in the IPL?
Well, obviously Chris Morris, but he's obviously already with RCB, but obviously didn't
Yeah,
play. But
yeah,
I'd love to see him play. And then someone like Yaneman Milan,
yeah,
because he's quite good and hard hitting. So
yeah.
yeah.
So when you look at if you look at a cricketer and you watch them play, what sort of tips do you take from them, and what do you to look for in a cricketer?
I just think the way they hit the ball and like the way they play the game, like
Mhm.
the way they think, like mindsets and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah. But that's awesome. I'd love to hear from you and about that more, and you can give us some more insights. Back to the Twins again before I go to Abai. So you mentioned Bjorn Fortuin, and obviously that's an awesome name. Maybe we can move over now from those players and say, is there someone that you really think? What do you think about Faf to proceed? Let me start with that, because Faf has really stood out in this particular IPL campaign. I mean, there hasn't been a game that he really looked off. Obviously -1, but I mean, he's been phenomenal, and he's been pushed up the order, and he's still performing. So it's like it's incredible, because I feel opening the batting is a lot more different than obviously batting at 3. But in his case, because they've been struggling so much, I mean, he basically was opening the batting. So, from your perspective, do you think that Faf should be back in the Proteas lineup? Does he walk back in? Girls?
Unmute your mic, please.
Oh, sorry, was it
Yeah, there we
us?
go.
Oh,
Yes, for you girls.
sorry.
No problem. Yeah, what do you think about Faf? Do you think he should be back in the Proteas lineup again?
Oh, you
Yes.
see, yes. The flat out question is the answer is definitely yes. But if I could give a more like elaborate on your answer thing, so definitely I've seen Faf just exude this level of confidence in his batting and fielding as well. If I can give an example, specifically one that stood out for me was in the CSK and SRH match. That catch that he took just at the boundary, and that little bit of show off he did there in front of the SRH bench. So he kind of like caught the ball just before the boundary, throws it up in the hops out of the boundary, comes back in and catches it again. So just that kind of like playfulness, I think coming from Faf's side, he's definitely a funny guy, and I think that's something that I think we should nurture also in our Protea side. I think it's nice to just see that. I don't know, it just stood out to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I
Because
mean,
obviously,
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
no, I was saying, obviously, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then why are you playing cricket anyway? So if you
Exactly.
can do something, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Because I mean, talking about that fun side of Faf du Plessis, I know I'm talking as a story of my own, but I mean, I don't want to. But just something to give some insight is that when we went to the Paul Rocks launch and I did an interview with Faf, it was my first interview for the channel, so it was like I was very nervous, because I mean, I never got before at the CSA Awards. You kind of you prepare yourself that you're going to be interviewing these guys, but like when you at like randomly there, you don't expect to just get an exclusive with someone like Fafman. It's like they're around there, you're gonna ask them, you hope that they say yes and they don't reject you. So I was in the middle of I just started my interview, and then he said, "Whoa, stop!" And he got a phone call from his wife. So he picked up the phone, and I'm on camera now, and I'm interviewing him, and I didn't know what to do, so I just stood there and like I was like in shock. He's like, "Just hold on," he's like, and that's another thing. What I respect about Faf is that he remembers your name if you've been in contact with him. Like you obviously meet so many different people through his time
Mm.
interviewing so many different people. You will make sure that he remembers your name if you are in the industry. Like he'll make sure that he knows you. He make sure that he'll talk to you with respect. He'll give you an open and honest answer. Like I had a feeling that because I was a young journalist at the time, it was obviously there was a lot more people in the industry that were way more experienced than me. He kind of almost helped me in a way by giving me extra long answers and more in-depth answers to help me with in his own way.
Mm.
And I thought that was quite amazing. I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence or I don't know, but it came across. That's what I've taken from it. So yeah, you're 100% right. You need to play this game obviously with enjoyment. And Michi, you can say that. What do you love about cricket? What keeps you going?
I just think, oh yeah, I love cricket, and I think just the love for cricket and the way I see some of them play just just keeps me going.
Mm. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we always try to keep that love in there. I think that's the love of the game that we're trying to push to every single person out there, and to keep this game alive is something that is quite difficult, especially in this time. We've got another caller that's trying to connect to you as well. Her name's Lucy. She'll be joining the show very soon. Also, very well known she's a journalist, obviously in England. So she'll give us some insights into that and some international experience as well. But Lubabalo, as cricket fans, I think we came as a Fanatics channel, and I think that the hardest thing that I've faced so far is how to keep this game alive. So I thought that by starting a YouTube channel and starting making the content easily accessible to all users, obviously, you know about our digital magazine as well. We're trying to make it easy and accessible and quick for people to stay in touch with cricket and get closer to their heroes. As fans, and you being a massive cricket fan as well and very active on social media, what is kind of the message that you would give to fans on how they can stay involved in cricket?
Okay, it's a bit of a tough one. I think for me, it starts with us. It starts with us, coaches. It starts with people at CSA. It starts with the people that can provide the necessary resources. Because I believe for us to be able to keep cricket alive, we need to have more people falling in love with the game. So it starts with taking cricket to the rural areas. Take cricket to the poorest of areas, because the more people that fall in love with the game, it means that the population of people that love cricket is now growing, and that's the only way we can keep it alive. For us to keep cricket alive, we need to spread cricket. But in terms of when it comes to fans, I think we need to start supporting our domestic cricket whenever we can. We need to start going to matches, because I've seen sometimes you find that maybe there's a match at St. George's and they say ticket is about 10 rand. It's not a lot of cash. The more we try and support our cricket, I think that's one of the ways that we can keep it alive. It's not easy, obviously, but whenever we can, we need to try and support domestic cricket, because that's where it starts. That's where we get our national players.
So we have another caller, and finally we're getting him on the show, because I mean he's tried to connect before, had some issues, but we're gonna introduce you to Ayanda. This is a massive calling, guys. Thank you for all joining, and welcome to the show, Ayanda. Thank you for being always so active in the comment section. Hello, Ayanda. Can you hear us? Okay, wait, let's just remove him until he's ready. I'll ask him to let us know when he's ready. So let's continue with that. If you had the opportunity, I'm going to ask the twins again before we get to Aditya again. If you have the opportunity, obviously, to watch a lot of domestic cricket in your area, would you take it? I mean, obviously, you would take it, right?
Definitely, no question about it. And
Yeah, definitely.
sorry.
So that was a question. That is the
Also,
question to the two. Yeah, I'll come to you now.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. Sorry, sorry. I heard,
Oh.
I heard
No
Aditya.
problem. It's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Obviously, look. I will say, like, we are very. The problem mainly is getting out to the games. Look, paying the ticket is okay. That's really chill, but getting there, like the transport and situation. So we can't drive yet. But okay. But yeah, focus on the yet. So I think definitely getting to the matches. I agree with what Lubabalo said about getting out to the domestic cricket matches. Focus more on our, the ones that are entering into the game, starting their careers fresh. So I definitely agree with that. We need to support definitely from domestic and then upward. So I mean, yeah. So that's just one thing we need to work on is getting to the matches. So, but that's fine. License. Yeah, license.
License. Oh, but the license will come. I think there's
Yo,
going
can
to
I
be.
add something real quick?
Yeah, of course, Abai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think in order to further grow the game in the country, I think, more people have to get interested. And I think in the very first MSL, I believe SABC had broadcasted it on free to air television. So I think that was a big move to get a lot of people to watch it. And I think that's probably done a great job for further developing the game in South Africa.
Well, that's awesome. So let's try to get Ayanda on. Ayanda, are you ready? Can you just give me a thumbs up if you're ready? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Ayanda?
Welcome back.
No. I don't know if he's going to join, if he's not joining. Okay, it doesn't look like it's working at the moment.
Well,
Just give me
okay.
Ayanda, if you can hear me in the back end, just give me a quick thumbs up and then I'll bring you into the stream. If you can hear me. We have another call over here, Lucy. Same thing from your side. If you want to come on, you can just give me a quick thumbs up and then I'll join you into the stream. It will be awesome to hear your insights into this as well. So, Michi, I'm going to ask you one more question. I know you've been sitting there patiently. So, you obviously, as a fan, a cricket fan, if you could give any advice to younger cricket fans out there, your age, what sort of advice would you give them? What would you tell them about the game or try to help them get into the game?
I think the most important thing is to enjoy the game. Because if you don't enjoy the game, then you're not going to like it. So I just think enjoy the game and take every opportunity you get. So every opportunity, you never know what you can get out of it. So just to enjoy it and take every opportunity as it comes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for joining the show. We're going to get some more callers on. I know you're going to come on again, and this was your debut, and you did a really great job, and I hope you come on again in the future. So thank you for joining the stream.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you too and hearing your insights. Take care. So let's bring on another caller, Aditya. It's just us four now. Let's bring on Lucy. It was entertaining, obviously, to talk to. I'm very excited to talk to her. Obviously, it's her debut on the channel as well. To hear her insights as well. So welcome to the stream, Lucy.
Hi, is everyone all right?
Yeah. Everybody's good.
All good. How's it going?
I was going to talk for all of you. It's fine. You guys can all put on your mics. Let's just go. So, Lucy, we obviously spoke about the IPL a little early on. I think we're going to move on to now into international cricket and a little bit more. In South Africa, who are some of the players from your side that really stand out to you? If England had to face South Africa right now, who are some of the players that you go, wow, I'm a little bit worried about them or scared about them?
Well, obviously, AB is taking a step back from international, but him in the IPL has been a bit on fire, hasn't he? But obviously, who else have we got? Stain hasn't been playing much, has he?
No, not much, yeah.
But Rabada, he's just keep on coming in. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to face him at the stumps.
Yeah, of course not. What do you think England's doing right from a team perspective? What can we learn from? Obviously, South Africa is in a transitional phase at the moment. But what do you think that a team like South Africa can learn from a team like England?
So I think when you put in the squads together, I think it's really important to look at, instead of picking a cricketer, you're picking a test team cricketer, or you're picking a T20 cricketer or an ODI cricketer, not just, yeah, you can hold a bat, we'll put him in every team. Like someone like Jos Buttler, I'd say about 3 years ago, he was in every team and he's just been given another test contract. But I'm thinking, does he need to be in the test team, or is he just holding up in the ODI and T20s? Like, obviously, he was brilliant in the World Cup last year, but with the test series you just had against the West Indies, you know, some of the like misfields he was doing behind the stumps, I was thinking a bit, ooh, you know, does he deserve that test contract?
Yeah, it's quite tricky to be able to do that. Lubabalo, for you, from your perspective, I mean, you're a massive Proteas fan, of course. Do you think that taking that, having three different teams, or having one particular, it's like a certain core group of players that are consistent through all the formats, because South Africa produces a lot of players that can play all formats, and I think the younger players that are coming through, like your favorite Marcus Ackerman, which you'll talk about a little later. So a lot of our players that we're producing are all-rounded. They can play multiple formats. Do you think that we should pick teams according to formats, or do you think there needs to be a nucleus or core among all three formats?
For me, I think it's I don't believe in boxing people. I think we at a point where cricket is it's evolving. But as much as you want to go with the times, with the different formats and whatnot, you almost don't want to box players. Like I'm sure now, if you would ask Ryan Rickleton, he would tell you that he doesn't fit, or he doesn't like the idea that he's only being seen as a white ball cricketer. I feel unless a player comes forward and say, well, I would like to play a certain format only, then there you can say, okay, fine, we will only consider you for a certain format. But if players don't come through and say, I prefer playing this format only, I'd rather we have a core group, which would be our senior players, like we've always had. Before guys like AB retired and Hash, we knew that we have Hash, we have AB, we have Dale, we have Monet. All of them were playing all three formats as the senior players. And then you had sort of the younger guys coming in every now and then, depending on the format. So for me, I'd rather we have a core group, just have senior players that play all the formats, and then wait on players to tell you that I would rather play test cricket only and not white ball cricket. Because if we make the decision for them, then you're taking something away from them. Cricketers love cricket, and I'm sure they would want to play all the formats.
Yeah. So I'm going to give the twins one more question before I go to Aditya to answer the same question that I asked Lubabalo. I'm just going to ask you girls, AB de Villiers, he mentioned AB there. Is it someone that you want to see back in the South African colours again?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, yeah, maybe you should just yes, I think you should, yes. Yes, I think so.
I don't know. I think not. I think he's had his turn, I think, and he's doing pretty well in IPL, I think, but I don't know. I'm very split between the two. I don't think he should. I don't think he should.
Okay,
really
so
don't think he should.
I think that's a perfect answer. And thank you girls for tuning in. And you're going to obviously be a lot more on the show. Obviously, this is the first podcast, full-on podcast that you've been on for a long period of time. So obviously next time you'll be a lot less nervous, etc. And I forgive you girls for being nervous, because I'm just as nervous. So don't think I talk a lot when I'm nervous. So you can obviously see that. So thank you a lot for tuning in. And we'll obviously chat to you again very soon.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody.
See you, man. Bye. Okay, awesome. So, Lucy, I saw you smirking in the corner.
Oh, of course. How can you not want him in South African colours or any colours? To be honest, he needs to be playing. Honestly.
Yeah, you see, now that is the response that we get from so many people. And Aditya, before we get into the AB debate and start talking about that, just got a message from a guy. He just wants to address. Yeah, okay, cool. When you're unfrozen, you kind of frozen. Can you just maybe come back into the stream? I'm just going to kick you quickly. Rejoin the stream. Aditya, let's get into that question that I asked Lubabalo first of all, with regards to picking teams and obviously different formats, and if you should have different formats for different players. Like, I mean, I think England does that very well. They know who their specialist players are. When they pick their sides, they know who's going to be in what format and who they're going to trust on. And they do have a core nucleus as well, but they do know who to put your knowledge. With India, is that something that you want to see?
No, I'd like India to have a core team of about 6 to 7 players that play all formats, because we also need to look at the numbers. I think we talked about this on a previous show where I said that you look at the narrative around T20 cricket, and we always talk about how power hitters are so important. But if you look at the numbers and the most successful T20 cricketers in the IPL, for example, Virat Kohli, he scored the most number of runs in the IPL. And his style of cricket, even in the T20 format, is largely risk-free. He plays along the ground, and he believes in running hard between the wickets when conditions are tough. And that's what we saw from him yesterday. And just to see that approach in T20 cricket is just a ray of sunshine, because you feel like there is an alternative, there is a better way to play, and he shows how to do it consistently. So I think India has sort of provided that template for how to play across the 3 formats, because you don't see games change, you don't see the style of play change very much for whether it's Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma or KL Rahul. They're all sort of pretty technically correct in all 3 formats of the game.
It's a very interesting point. Tabai, I'm going to give it over to you. I know your phone is dying at the moment, so you can say your last few words before you leave. What do you think about those statements that were made? What would you pick if you could see a Proteas side, and how full for all across the formats?
Well, first of all, I missed like the last two minutes of the conversation because, my phone was kind of acting up a little bit. But let me go back to Lubabalo's point about how to select. So I think we have to stay a bit open-minded, because I think every player, if they apply themselves well, they'll be able to succeed across all formats. So, like take Dean Elgar for example. We consider him a great test opener, but look at how he did in the Mzansi Super League. So that's just one example. There's several others, and then I think one more thing I wanted to add was players from South Africa I'd like to see in the IPL for the first time. So I would say Bjorn Fortuin, Dwayne Pretorius, Temba Bavuma, Rassie van der Dissen. Those are the 4 names coming to mind right now. I know there are a lot of others. Let's see, maybe the Warriors like spinner Dylan Matthews. I mean, we need a good spinner, so I think Dylan Matthews would be a good pick. So those are my closing statements, and I would say, and finally, thanks for having me. Buy a donkey, yeah.
I love it, Tabai. To hear Afrikaans in American accent is key. Now we just need to get Lucy to say it, and then we like have a complete show. Thanks a lot, Tabai, for coming on, and I'll chat to you again soon, of course. So it's the 4 of us left. Let's get into those topics. Obviously, a lot to speak about with regards to domestic cricket. Lucy, we're kind of going to try to educate you about domestic cricket. I don't know how much you know about it, but let's try to give you some insights into it. Lubabalo, are you still cool there? You look like you're frozen. Your side doesn't look like. Okay, I'm gonna just tell him to add himself to the stream. It's going to be us 3 for now, but they obviously, Lucy, you've heard some of the players that they mentioned over there. I don't know how much you know about our domestic cricket circuit, but I think you might have seen on Twitter, because I know you're quite active on Twitter, and you would have seen you follow a lot of South African guys. There's a consensus in South Africa kind of at the moment that we don't really have a very good domestic cricket system, that it's not as strong as the likes of England and India, for example. Now, this is where I want to draw knowledge from the both of you. Where can we learn? Because we have a 6 franchise system, and then we have obviously semi-pro, which is our provincial teams, and I think there's about 12 or 13 provincial teams that are currently there. So, from your perspective, what can South Africa do to improve that, to improve our domestic cricket? And here we've got Lubabalo back, hopefully. Please reconnect. So yeah, Lucy, from your perspective, what can we learn from the county system?
So one thing I would say is if CSA did kind of like open it up for overseas players like we do over here, maybe to just get more of a fan base from around the rest of the world following it type thing. So like over here, we've got our T20 competition county system, where we let our overseas players into each team, and then we get a big following. So one of my local teams, Somerset, we have Baba Azam, and then we've got a big following then from him in that team.
Now, that's because you guys have a lot of money in that system, I think. So I think you guys, the ECP is not struggling with regards to, I think, as much financial issues as CSA at the moment. I think from a financial perspective, the ECP isn't struggling as much as CSA is at the moment. So I don't think our franchises can afford to pay for international guys to come into the system, which would be awesome, actually. But that's why we had a debate about Mzansi Super League, and we said maybe we should open that up to more internationals and have more internationals into those teams. But Lubabalo, from your perspective, domestic cricket-wise, what can we do to improve our domestic cricket so that we can like compete with the other leagues? Like, for example, we'll ask Aditya about the Indian system as well later.
For me, to be honest, I don't believe there's a lot wrong with our domestic cricket as far as the standard is concerned. But I know a lot of people who won't agree with that. But I think what we can do is perhaps look at adding maybe one or two more franchises, because I believe that there's a lot of quality that's stuck at semi-pro. I remember Aiden Markram after the World Cup, a few of them were stuck, had to play for about a year or close to 2 years after they had to play semi-pro cricket. You go to Lions, for instance. You look at the quality and talent that's there by the strikers. Not only in the starting 11, but even guys that struggle to make the semi-pro side. As much as you want to have the competition, I feel like we still have a lot of talent that's not getting opportunities. Maybe if we can look at maybe having, let's say, for instance, 2 more franchise teams, then you have more talent and competition is going to get stiffer. Because right now, you come to Warriors, for instance, you look at a guy like Dian, still stuck at semi-pro cricket. But if he was to play franchise cricket, that's good competition for the other players as well. It's good competition for the players in the pro tiers, the all-rounders in the pro tiers. A lot of people say we don't have all-rounders, but I can tell you now, we can make 2 teams with only all-rounders. But from those 2 teams, you'll find that about 4 or 5 all-rounders are playing franchise cricket. So that's where we need to try and fix fix things. Start giving these players the exposure. Have the more players we have playing franchise cricket, the better.
Yeah. Aditya, from your perspective, because we've had this conversation, and I think personally, from my analysis and speaking to some guys, I think that the criticism on domestic cricket is quite harsh in South Africa. I think that we do have a lot of talent. I think that why India and why England kind of produce so much talent is also because they have a lot more franchises to pick from, with where we don't have as many. In India, the domestic setup, besides the fact that you have 1 billion people and probably almost half of them play cricket, what else do you think you guys are doing right from the domestic scene? Besides the IPL, we know that you guys feed them young into the IPL, and that's where they get their amazing experience playing against. And I hope that we can do the same from a domestic cricket. I want the MSL, for example, to open it up to more rookies. maybe have more compulsory rookies in each side in starting 11. Maybe that will help us produce a lot better quality players. But from your perspective, your domestic cricket.
In India, I think aspiring cricketers get a lot of opportunities from a very young age to compete. And the road to professional cricket, although there is plenty of competition, given that we have such a large population. But the fact is that we have a number of tournaments within the season. And again, I think because we have such a long season in cricket, we're able to fit in a lot of tournaments. Like we have the Syed Mushtaq Ali tournament. We've got the Challenger Trophy, and then we have, a number of like the Dilip Trophy. So there are plenty of opportunities for aspiring cricketers to really sort of hone their skill throughout the year, and that's always great because in addition of at least two, there'd be more of a talent pool to pick from.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give Lubabalo a chance just to say bye to the fans. He's obviously going to come on again. I'm definitely going to come on again, I hope, if you enjoyed it. But just give a closing statement and just where the people can find you on Twitter, etc., and social media platforms.
Thank you very much for having me. It's unfortunate that I have to leave because I'm writing tomorrow.
Yeah. Good luck.
And I'll definitely, thank you. I'll definitely join it next time. Enjoyed it. Thank you for having me. Where they can find me on Twitter, just search the Cricket Scholar. You'll find me there. Also on Instagram, but I don't have much cricket content on Instagram. It's mostly on Twitter. So if you want to engage with me, it's where you can find me. Always up for a debate or a chat about cricket. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining, man.
Cheers.
Cool. So, Aditya, from your perspective, you can just say your closing statements, and then I'll end with Lucy. Just give us something that you're really excited about for the next week, and where people can find you on Twitter too.
Sure. So again, I'm excited to see what the next week of the IPL has in store for us, because the teams are sort of figuring out a template of how to make the best of the conditions on offer, and just to sort of assess and reassess their form. The Chennai Super Kings with their win today, and they've got a couple of games coming again this week, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. And I'm equally excited to see if RCP is able to capitalize on the momentum that they've generated with 3 wins in 4 games. So very excited to see what the IPL has in store for us. And as for Twitter and Instagram, Aditya Mehta, that's where you can find me.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks a lot for joining. And I'm going to speak to you again in the week. Obviously, we do our catch-ups about the IPL. So thanks a lot for joining.
All right.
See you, man. Cool. Lucy, just the two of us. So I just wonder, there's a question particularly in the comments that I want you to answer, which I think is awesome, is about the Kolpak players and Brexit happening. If you can just give us as South Africans some insight into what's going on there. Vernie Rasmus has said that some of the Kolpak players coming back should help bring some experience back to the domestic system from what the younger players can learn. Also have a lot of the 4-day competitions televised, and I think that is an awesome topic. But can you just give us some update on what's happening with regards to Brexit and everything that's happening from that side?
So nothing's really been written out plain since like everything. But hopefully we'll have all our players back, the same pool that we normally have. And me coming from Wales, hopefully Glamorgan will have some in particular. Like I'm praying we'll have Sting back. We had him a few years ago. And then he went down to Hampshire, but dreams come true. But yeah, hopefully we'll have someone.
Yeah. So
they do make a big difference. So
yeah. So obviously you mentioned that you are fearing AB. It's a play that you would fear if you are playing against him. So you obviously say he needs to come straight back in the team. And what are your reasons besides the fact that based on his track record, obviously?
I feel like he needs to be there. When he's on the pitch, you can see how much of a team player he is. And I think he just has that momentum as well as the ability to play in the team.
Mm.
Especially being like a senior player in terms of like amongst all the youngsters, and that it's just good to have someone of that skill set and mindset in the team.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So just leave the fans with where they can find you, and I'm hoping that you're going to come on a future podcast as well, where I enjoyed having you and
So
hearing your
it's been great.
insights.
I really enjoyed. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Change the Overs. And Instagram, I'm at LucyReese777. So follow me and I'll follow you back. Whatever.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for joining, and I'll speak
Brilliant.
to you again
Thanks for
soon.
having me.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Bye.
See you. Bye. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I really had a lot of fun talking to all of you guys. There's some awesome comments that I'm just going to go through before I leave. If you guys have any more questions, you can let me know about them. Here's an awesome one from Jessica October, and she said perhaps AB can be beneficial in a managerial coaching capacity. Now, that's very interesting, and I think that he can give a lot of insight into that side of the game. Just having him in and around the squad is so important. I think that having that is vital to teaching players, obviously, or what they need to know about international games. Obviously, he's traveled all around the world. He can maybe give some insights also into people on how they can run their careers, how they can actually market themselves all across the globe. And I think he's one of those players with regards to the buy factor or the wow factor, and the way he's marketed himself. He's phenomenal across the world, and I think he can give a lot of insight into players, into how to do that. Here we've got Reginald that said that I think we must have 8 franchises. I also think maybe having more franchises would make it more competitive. That would also be an awesome thing. I have a caller in the back waiting. She's been trying to call in the show, and I'm just going to get on quickly. So, Palesa, if you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. I'll just ask you a couple of questions before I sign off. Can you hear me in the back end? Hello? Palesa? Hello? Can you hear me? No, can't hear me. Okay, I don't think she can hear me. So, yeah, spoiler alert for Mayanda. Liverpool are 4-1 down. That gives me a little bit of happiness and hope through me for after today's performance for Man United, which has utterly sucked. I'm not on the Ollie out brigade, so I'm not one of those people. But anyway, so let's just wrap things up. Thanks a lot for everybody for tuning in, of course. Thanks a lot for giving me all the comments and giving me all this interaction. Don't forget to, of course, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for future videos and obviously for future live streams. Don't forget to smash that like button, because we want to obviously get into other people's recommended feeds. This will help us get into recommended feeds. If you like, comment, share, obviously, and of course, subscribe. Tomorrow is the big day. I mean, I've been working tirelessly. I don't know if you can see that I'm a bit tired at the moment. Eyes are a bit puffy. Been working very hard on the next issue of the magazine, which I feel I'm really proud of, to be able to tell the story of a particular cricketer that really shows, and is really the identification, and it kind of shows what resilience is, what grit is. It's a true story of resilience and grit of a cricketer in South Africa that has really gone through hell and is really working towards getting himself to a level that is unbelievable at the moment, that he's working himself way back, and he came back from what he went through. So guys, keep an eye out for tomorrow's magazine. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, social, and also on social media platforms to get the updates on when you can do that. The link is in the description as well to download the latest issues of the magazine and to become a part of the family and subscribing. That's the link on the screen, and the link is in the description for you guys to be able to obviously sign up and become a member and become a subscriber. It's free, so you don't have to pay anything. If you want to come to future episodes, just give us an email. If you want to write for us, send us an email. If you want your articles to be in the magazine or on the website, just send us an email, and we'll help you guys get your articles obviously featured on our website or in the magazine, dependable on what the content is. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm hoping that we can get more of these type of shows. and I'm hoping that we can get more call-ins like this. I really enjoyed all the guests. Let us know in the comment section who you really enjoyed hearing and listening to, and who would you like to see back on again. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and